Number 3, the mirror work. Chris, when you look in a mirror, are you truly confident? Are you truly fulfilled with your life? Or was there a time when you looked in the mirror and just hated who you were?
There were plenty of times in my life where I wasn't happy with my appearance, as well as like what was going on in my brain. But I think it just really depends on your perspective, right? Because maybe in the times when I was severely overweight in my eyes, that's somebody's goal weight, right? Someone who's 500 pounds maybe wishes to be 250 pounds. So
Perspective.
it's perspective, right? And I don't think we'll ever look in the mirror and be fully satisfied with our appearance. I mean, there's always something we can find to improve. There's always a little bit of chunk of fat here or there, not enough muscle,
Not enough tattoos.
not enough tattoos, right? Not a big enough beard, you name it. There's always something that we want more, but it's the perspective of being okay with yourself and loving yourself where you're at, and know that if you do want to improve, then it's just going to take some time and discipline. So it's a perspective shift that I've had in my life that's really allowed me to be confident. Because if I'm trying to look like someone else, then I'm never going to be my best self. If that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
Um,
Yeah, I want to talk a lot about this because I think reflection and perspective is how we live our life every day. I think that's a huge key to what we do.
Mhm.
But I want to talk about two things real quick. I want to talk about filters and fears,
Filters and fears.
right? As you look in the mirror, you see a filter version of yourself,
Yeah.
and then you see the other version of yourself that you hate,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like the light switch is on. I look beautiful and glamorous, and then you turn the light off, and you're like, this is the real me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And
It's true.
I think this is a struggle with what we deal with in society with social media and different things of not feeling good enough or comparing ourselves to things, stuff like that. And then also, I look in the mirror sometimes and I see my either younger self or I see my older self, and it freaks me out.
How so? Can you explain?
You see your younger self, he either looks at you and he's proud of you, or he looks at you and he's upset with you
Oh, I got you.
because you didn't do what you said you were going to do. Right.
Right.
It's like a little boy, if his dad says he's going to take him fishing, doesn't take him fishing, little boy's upset.
Mm.
Right. And then the other side of it is seeing the older version of me is either super happy with me or super upset, going, you didn't wake up and do your dream like you said you were.
Mm.
You thought too little. Think bigger. Like we talk about this too often. But I think that's the fears of, a lot of times our fear is ourselves.
Mm.
So I think, like, what do you think about filters and fears?
Well, I think that topic's interesting because when I was a bit more depressed and I hadn't really solved that part of my life, with mental health, I saw a lot of my younger self looking at me now and being really proud, to be honest, not in a negative way at all. It's just that was the mind. That was what I was thinking, because depression, you're always thinking about the past. Anxiety, you're typically thinking about the future, right? And so now I've kind of dealt with my depression. I have some anxiety now because I'm like, I'm not where I want to be. I'm not there yet, and it's not getting there fast enough. It's because we're obsessed with growth, right? But now I look and I constantly see that in the mirror where I'm like, what is future Chris looking at me right now and thinking of how I'm living my life? Am I respecting my time? Am I allocating my time properly? Are my priorities correct? I want to be living the life right now in terms of like my mental, my physical, and everything I do the same way I do in the future. I know that's not possible because we forever grow, but that's what I strive for, and it's never enough. So I don't know if that really answers the question, but that filter, it really changes depending on like my mood, because sometimes I'm thinking about the past Chris, sometimes I'm thinking about future Chris. But either way, I should really just be focusing on the present and where I'm at, because that's where peace comes.
Right. And I think me and you've had this conversation too, is seeing that old version of 250-pound Chris versus 230 jacked Chris. I've been fortunate enough to watch the process.
Mm-hmm.
I've been through the book with you. I've got to read the book. I've got to go through different chapters and see the best version of you, right?
Mm.
You can't tell me that working out and being disciplined with your food didn't change your life.
Absolutely. That's the first thing I would recommend anybody does if they're struggling with mental health, is find a fitness health regimen, stay active in some sort of way. You don't have to go balls to the wall and run a marathon and work out twice a day and eat like a bird, but like find some sort of physical activity that's strenuous, because that's where you find peace. And you can probably talk scientifically about like the endorphins and chemicals inside your body that scientifically is proven to help you. But for me, if my fitness regimen is not in check, nothing else is in check. That is the first thing I have to focus on, because when I'm in a routine and I feel like I'm really just crushing it is when I'm crushing everything else. Like last year when I ran my marathon and I was training, I was going balls to the wall with this thing. And you saw me just locked in on every single lane. Maybe my relationship took a hit. Maybe that's the one lane that I didn't focus on. But learning curve, right? Overall, fitness changes your mindset. It changes your life. People actually treat you different when you start to change physically. It's really exciting. It's important to not place your happiness inside of that, what other people are feeling when they see you change, but it's a part of the growth period, and that's what's exciting. And I think it can get you out of that slump of just feeling defeated or collapsed, to get you on the right route to maybe start getting some clarity, maybe a little bit more happiness in your day, to where you see the good things, you find the joy, the gratefulness. It's just the first step for me that I think is a domino effect in your life.
I mean, dude, you couldn't have said that any clearer, because I got to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, but you've also seen me as like Chris, the football player, and then like Chris, who went to college and was overweight, and then Chris, who lost weight again, right? And then, okay, he went into his job, and then he got a bunch of weight on his body again, and then COVID hit and he stopped working out.
Yeah.
So like you've seen me in all these different phases of mental and physical stress.
Right. Well, I think you're an executor in everything you do. We've already talked about this, but I think the hardest thing to do as an entrepreneur is wake up and tell yourself to do something.
So hard.
It's easy to go to practice, bro.
Yeah, because they're telling you.
You got to go do this. Okay, I can yell at me, tell me what to do. Cool, got it. Hey, be an engineer. Okay, here's my to-do list. Boom, boom, boom. You became an expert in a certain time period to become an engineer, like school, everything you did. So the hardest space is, the first step, in my opinion, is waking up and going on that run.
Yeah.
You're telling yourself to do something you don't want to do.
Yeah. Nobody likes running at first.
Not even just running, working out, whatever it is. The day that you can actually listen to your subconscious mind is the day that you change your life. And actually executing your subconscious. Like, we all try to get to 100% of our subconscious mind, which that's very difficult, but you're a very realistic person. If you say, hey, I'm going to go run 3 miles today, not 8 miles today, like me, I'm like, I can't stop. You're over here like, this is exactly what I'm doing, and you accomplish it. So what would you say the number one thing is when you think about the mirror work and identifying those filters and the fears?
I would say most of those fears are just not real, first off. A lot of them are emotional fears, and they're things that we place on ourselves that are limiting beliefs at the end of the day. So fears, throw them out the door. They're not even there. If you're worried about something that happened in the past, it's already happened. What are you afraid of? If you're worried about something in the future, it hasn't happened yet, so you don't know how it's going to pan out. So throw those fears out of the way. If you're not happy where you're at in life, and you look in the mirror and you don't like who you see, or you're thinking about your past self, or you're thinking about your future self, none of that matters. Think about you where you're at today. How can I become better 1%? It sounds so stupid. It sounds cliche, but it's real. Find something you don't want to do that's really hard and go accomplish that shit, because you need a win in your life.
That creates the confidence, right?
Yes, that creates the confidence.
Right. So, yeah, I think looking in the mirror, I think you have to see all sides of you and identify the one you want to be and the one you don't want to be. And then, like Chris is saying, take one little tiny step towards something. That might not be go balls to the wall. That might be going, hey, I'm going to go walk 1 mile every day. That's what we do. We strategically make our dopamine releases go off with physical activity, and that's changed our life. And so, yeah, if you're in a phase where you don't want to get up and go, this is your sign, this is your video to get up and go. No one's going to come hand you anything. You're going to have to go take what you want in your life. And for us, there's a reason why every time we run, no one's behind us, because we're so far of where we're going to go, and nobody wants to sit there behind us and can run with us. And that's the separation in entrepreneurship of being great at what you do. How many days have you ran every day that no one was behind you?
My entire training, for the most part.
To me, that shows entrepreneurship. Who's going to go? Who's going to do? Who's going to do the hard shit? That's the person I want to follow. That's the person I want to build a business with, because there's discipline involved of doing shit you don't want to do. So When you look in the mirror, you have two decisions: become the best version of yourself or stay exactly where you are.